Today I'm gonna do a presentation about the Sunda Strait tsunami that happened in Indonesia on December 22nd, 2018. This presentation will follow this content. The first part would be a brief introduction. Then second part is the interviews with survivors. And lastly is about some of my reflections on disaster management in Southeast Asia. So the Sunda Strait lies between Java and Sumatra Islands and is known for its regular seismic and volcanic activity. So on December 22nd, 2018, the waves hit several areas in the edge of Sunda Strait, destroying houses and other buildings. The tsunami killed more than 400 people and injured more than 1,000, following an underwater landslide, which is believed to be caused by erupting Anak Krakatau volcano. So one particular characteristic of this tsunami that differs from the usual tsunamis is that this one did not trigger the tsunami warning. While Indonesia does have a tsunami warning network, it is designed to provide warnings for tsunami triggered by earthquakes. As this one was triggered by the sudden collapse of an island into the water, no tsunami warning was issued. So when the tsunami reached Java Island, the Indonesia rock band 17 was performing for hundreds of guests on an outdoor stage at a year-end party for the state-owned utility company PLN. We can see a short video. So after the disaster, the lead vocalist Rifian Fajasha became the only surviving member of 17, and his wife, Dylan Sahara, also died in the tsunami. After a period, Netflix created a short film for Rifian Fajasha in memory of his crew and his wife. In Adijigo, another survivor, was also there hosting the party when the tsunami came. He went on a show to talk about the disaster, and also he lost his wife in the tsunami. So, when being interviewed, the survivors had mixed emotions describing the disaster. The reactions mostly expressed, including the panic at the sudden tsunami due to the lack of preparation, the relief at surviving, the regret and sadness at the death of relatives and friends, and also the fear of the disaster. Elise, who is 7 months pregnant, was taking a shower when the tsunami came. When the first wave hit, Elise's husband, Purwanto, shouted a warning to Elise. Elise said, "When my husband shouted, I put on my clothes as fast as I could. When he was going back inside the house to help me, the second and bigger wave hit our house. The strong wave, taller than a nearby power pole and about 7 to 12 meters high, destroyed their house, and Elise and her husband got injured. They were later treated by Doctors Without Borders team." Elise said, "They checked my condition and that of my baby. I had bruises with some swelling almost all over my body. But thank God my baby is okay." She said this with a smile and relief. Then, in Javabasa village, when the first wave struck, the wedding party has already begun. This wedding party was taking place about 30 meters from the shore, so most of the guests were able to scramble to higher ground. Others, however, were not so lucky. Some villagers not attending the party were not able to survive. The village head, Abdul Rahman, said, "It was meant to be a happy day. Then the sea came. After the tsunami, he said, "Of course, we are scared that another tsunami could hit our village of any time. We are scared, but this is our home." The fisherman Tsunami is another interviewee. So when the tsunami came, he was at the sea. He said that I desperately wanted to scream out of my lungs to remind the people in my village that a very high wave was coming to hit them. But everything happened so quickly, I could only hold on to my boat and helplessly watch the huge wave hit my village right when they were sleeping. In his helplessness, Germani saw two people were heaved into the open water. He and his fellow fishermen in the boat took an immediate response to help them. Jumani and his friend were able to save those two persons from the sea, but the mourning over the disaster is still overwhelming. He said, "If only people knew what to do when disasters strike, more lives would have been saved." He said this in a grieving tone. Then Takapatake Tomoyuki and his co-authors more comprehensively counted the survivors' recollections of the tsunami and their own attitudes and thoughts. When the authors asked whether respondents faced any difficulties when evacuating, the most frequently cited issue was that there were too many people on the road evacuating at the same time, suggesting that severe congestion would have taken place at many locations during the disaster. And the author also asked them whether they were still scared about the tsunami after the event. As expected, most of them answered yes, given that the eruption of Anak Krakatau continued in the aftermath of tsunami. Nearly half of those surveyed felt that it was unsafe to go back to their house even 1 week after the tsunami. So, based on the words and descriptions of these interviewed survivors, I got some reflections on disaster management in Southeast Asia. The subjects can mainly be divided into three kinds: the residents, government, and the region. Firstly, for residents, as previously we see that Jumani said, if only people knew what to do when disaster strikes, more lives would have been saved. So, residents should cultivate their awareness of natural disaster and consciously learn about how to face and save themselves and also save other people when natural disasters come. Only in this way can they maximize the chances of survival. Second, for the government, as mentioned in Takapatake Tomoyuki's research paper, one problem during evacuation is that many people evacuate at the same time, resulting in serious street congestion. Therefore, the government should pay attention to upgrading infrastructure and arrange regular evacuation drills for residents to make sure that when disasters really come, the casualties can be minimized. It is also mentioned that the reason why there was no advance warning for this tsunami is that the warning system only detected tsunamis caused by earthquakes and ignored tsunami that may be triggered by volcanic activities. Therefore, the government should also focus on improving the early warning and monitoring facilities. And lastly is about the region. When I was searching for relevant information, I noticed that in October 2019, China, Japan, and Korea and Southeast Asia countries officially established the Southeast Asia Disaster Risk Insurance Facility. This is a regional platform that provides participating nations with advisory and financial services to increase resilience and cooperation in response to climate and disaster risks. This initiative, which is strongly supported by ASEAN and World Bank, provides a guarantee for Southeast Asian countries to deal with the financial and material shortages that they may face when dealing with natural disasters. I think this is one of the benefits that regional cooperation can bring to countries in Southeast Asia. So these are my references. So that's it for my presentation. Thank you for listening.